my hair, we've got issues. Now I don't know if I should cut it or keep it. Yeah, me and my hair, we've got issues. Hi everyone. It's been so long, and I hope you guys are doing well, despite the whole COVID-19 scare and all of the madness that's going on in the world. I hope you guys are at peace and things are working out for you. Well, at the moment, I'm deciding to just like try again with this whole hair blogging thing or hair vlogging. Um, as it turns out, the first video got a lot of views, and I've been encouraged to talk more about hair and try my hand at it. However, I guess as the intro states, me and my hair, we are on rocky grounds at the moment. We're not exactly the best of pals, and the reason being is because my hair is like really coarse. It's just a mess sometimes, but I'm grateful to God for what I have now, because I was practically losing it the other day. And yeah, there are some things going on. I think at one point it was alopecia. The hairdresser, which I don't really go to a hairdresser, but I went to one recently. In November to have my hair done for my graduation, and she was mentioning some things that was going on with my hair, such as my scalp was red, and there were some patches, and I was like, and she was like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I sincerely don't know what was happening. I mean, since lately, it's like I have some guesses as to what was really going on with my hair. But it was just not pretty, and then at times the hair was just so coarse, so terrible, it was hard to comb out. And it kind of egged me on to just go ahead and even see if I can get a press, because in February I did a press, and then again recently I had to press out my hair, and then the hairdresser cut it as well, another hairdresser, because it was just not, she said some parts were really short, the others were long, and it's like a mess. And I'm also thinking of cutting it off. So that's the reason why I just didn't really want to come up here and do another hair video, because it just really wouldn't have made much sense. But here goes. For the time being, I think I'll just work with my hair, and I have just a few things that I can share and help with this entire process. Number one, to avoid hair loss, one of the best things that we can do to not really even avoid it, but like minimize hair loss, and that is to actually tie your hair down at night when you're sleeping. And it's best to use a silk cap or bonnet or head tie to just like keep your hair from breaking or getting dry, because the reason why they even emphasize, people over time have emphasized on using silk caps, is because they tend to retain moisture. And even when you're sleeping on a pillowcase, the moisture from, for example, another material like cotton can be drawn out, sorry, and it can also break your hair. So to prevent breakage, actually overall, it's best to have your hair tied. And you can use things like these. I use this to tie down the front, which is cornrow at the moment. Like tie down the front. You can also use these. This one has lost its elasticity, but this is like a cap. And sometimes I use a stocking foot, but this isn't exactly silk. And then there's also like a do-rag. That one can't be foam, but I have a do-rag and that works. Sorry about that. The next one is ensure that when you're combing out your hair, it is moisturized. Do not comb out dry hair, especially dry, brittle, 4C hair, which is so fragile. That will just snap your hair like that, and that will cause so much hair loss and put so much pressure on you as well. It's best always to ensure that your hair is moisturized. So moving on to the next topic, and that is to keep your hair moisturized always. Do not let your hair reach the point where it is dry and it's just like begging for some form of moisture. So what you can do is to like massage your scalp to ensure that the natural oils come up and reach to the is distributed to the ends of the hair. So like the moisturizing thing, it works wonders. Then you can also, for the moisturizing, it's best sometimes if you put in like liquid distilled water, but clean water, of course, in a container mixed with some of your favorite oils and just give like a light spritz. That will always work as well. Don't drown your hair. Nah, just put some light spritz on it and that will work at times. The next step that you can use to minimize hair loss or shedding would be to use the proper tools to comb up your hair. There have been many theories where people have been saying that, it's not good to comb your hair. I can't tell because I guess I've only tested this one and I've been using it since I was a child, and that is to comb my hair. And what I've always been told is to use like wide tooth comb, right? So this here you use when you're like creating an afro. This as well when you're just like parting, combing out your hair, as well as using a tail comb. These are like what I'll use, and I have some other combs. I have a finer one, a finer tail comb, but the drawback to those is that when you're trying to part your hair, they snag it, like they break the hair, which is not really healthy. And then some of them are so fine that they actually end up drawing the hair out from its follicles, which isn't good at all. You don't want hair loss, you want hair growth. So use just a tail comb when you're parting your hair, right? And for the fine tooth ones, you just kind of use them to scrape up, like for baby hairs at the back and front. That's what I know of. But again, with the comb, it has been said that metal combs, which I have never used, metal combs and plastic as well, those aren't good to comb your hair because again they say those tend to cause breakage as well as to damage your scalp. um, I've been using these. I haven't really encountered damage to my scalp, but it has been said that the new craze, the new thing on the market is a wooden comb, and a wooden comb is what is to be used to comb your hair, especially for the scalp, because it tends to be gentler and it tends to just create, like when you're combing the scalp, it creates oils, natural oils to come out and again moisturize the hair. But for me, I've never used a wooden comb before, so I can't speak of it. But I've even heard like it's good to even use those made of sandalwood because they tend to add moisture to your hair. Not sure how that story goes really, but it's what I've been reading about so far. The next thing is to keep your hair in protective styles. These can be cornrows, flat twists like these here that I have in. The sun not really working with me because I'm working with natural light, but like flat twists, um, let me see, like you can just do two big old French twists going down, twists overall, plaits. Um, for some people they use braids, those are good. But as for me, after a while, braids become kind of redundant and my hair can't really handle it anymore. And at one point, I was wearing a lot of braids, and I don't think that really worked for me over time. But to keep your hair in protective styles, and again, like spritz it now and then and just tie it down and go about your business after a while, and you know that will help to keep your hair nice and moisturized. But keep it in protective styles and keep it for at least a week or two before like pulling it out. But just don't always keep manipulating your hair. And then the next best thing right now to avoid unnecessary hair loss, and that is to avoid stress. Stress, I believe, as I was saying earlier, I have some theories as to what was causing my hair loss, and I believe stress is one of them. Stress can lead to alopecia areata. That's where the body actually attacks its own cells, so it's like an autoimmune disease. And then there's this one called telogen effluvium, and that one is caused by traumatic stress. That one will cause excessive shedding of your hair, and it will tend to subside after you've moved out of the stressful situation. But alopecia areata can be just a little bit more serious. But these things actually tells us that the stress can affect the body in some very negative ways. And if we're losing our hair, that is one of the worst things that can happen, because some people just absolutely adore their hair. They don't want to lose it. To them, it's their crown. So try your best to live a lifestyle that's more on the calmer side and one that's not going to cause your cortisol levels to go up. So again, when it comes to stress, stay away from it. Again, it can cause hair loss, weight loss, all sorts of things that is very harmful to your body. So again, those are like what I have so far as it relates to minimizing hair loss. These are some of the things that I used to do in the past. However, I have strayed from the good old path, and it's like the hair just wasn't thriving. So I've decided to just try it once more and see what happens. So I hope these tips work for you. And if there's anything that you wish to share, any other tips you wish to share on how to minimize hair loss, then I'm all for it and I'll be happy to listen. So until then, stay safe, keep positive as much as possible.